So the MYLIBRARYNYC program helps public schools borrow books from the library in bulk, class sets and teacher sets for either student independent reading or literary circles. It's a huge benefit in the classroom because I'm able to get books that my kids need.
I was a special education teacher, and I remember at a meeting at the beginning of the year, one of the students was like, "I'm not a reader, I've never read a book in my life." And I was like, "What about graphic novels?" And he was like, "I don't even know what that is." I had reached out to all these publishing companies. Viz sent me a copy of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball 1 and Dragon Ball Z 1. And the kid was like, "Oh my God, can I borrow this? I love this." And was like so excited, and it wasn't processed yet. And I was like, "Oh, can you wait?" And I was like, "No, never mind. I'll just figure out how to process it," because I didn't know at the time. And so the student took it, and they were like constantly reading books. So like, I could feel myself becoming a nerd and like constantly reading.
I've been able to use the My Library program by just going on trips in general. One of the trips was going to visit a comic book artist, and well, he told us about his craftsmanship and the stuff he's done and how he's met people to build his reputation even better. And surprising as it is, more people knew him for not the comic books he wrote, but for the international stuff, for like manga, which was the Japanese written stories, which we found really interesting.
I do recommend the NYC library program because you can meet a lot of new people. There's a lot of different genres of books that you can read. There's a lot of fun activities, and you're bored and really don't have nothing to do. And you can just explore and just talk to other people.
Well, I think one of my favorite things about the MYLIBRARYNYC program is that I was able to order different sets specifically based on what my students were interested in. So I got some classics, I got some books that were focused on LGBTQ issues, I got some books that related to history and nonfiction, and some books that were memoir, and I was able to go based on what I know my students are interested in, so I was able to offer them more of what I know they want to actually be reading, which is so huge in turning kids into lifelong learners and readers.
Through MYLIBRARYNYC, I think maybe about 80 to 90% of my students were able to receive library cards through MYLIBRARYNYC. And it was pretty epic. Without a program like MYLIBRARYNYC, the literacy rate would tank, because of the wide range that MYLIBRARYNYC offers. It gives students more reading opportunities. And without MYLIBRARYNYC, literacy rate is going to go be abysmal.
The MYLIBRARYNYC teacher set definitely supports the teachers at my school. It enhances their curriculum and expands what they do. So we'll be reading books on historical fiction for the social studies teacher to expand what they already do in the classroom with the content. So Literacy Night here at IS24 is a family literacy night. We incorporate the families to come. We want the students to come with their parents to see what the library is like and to see what the New York Public Library and MYLIBRARYNYC can offer them. So the outreach librarians have been very helpful for IS24. They've come in to do database searching. We've learned how to do newspaper article searching for different newspapers. Also, Caitlin has come in to do book clubs with me. We've done book clubs, and Caitlin has sat in our book clubs. So they've been very helpful and supportive.
So the MYLIBRARYNYC program has supported our schools with the ability to receive titles that aren't normally available to us as full class sizes. So the program allows a ELA teacher or a science teacher to get their hands on a class size of 33, having the ability to have the same title for whatever unit of study is taking place throughout the year. So the value that MYLIBRARYNYC provides to IS24 is immense. Once we realize that the funding that's required to be part of this is peanuts, for lack of a better word, the investment that we make into the program, the returns are just times 10 in terms of how the school gets its hands and its students gets its hands on titles that we couldn't necessarily receive on our own. And for being part of the entire New York Public Library system to look for titles that we could get, I think sometimes I even joke that, are they even charging us enough to be part of this program? But the return on the investment is huge. and I would recommend other principals to definitely get involved in this.
There's so much value that extends beyond just the catalog and teacher sets of My Library NYC. There is the personal relationship that the school librarian can build with the public library and public librarian. There is the bringing in the programming and authors that public libraries have access to that schools may not be able to afford. There are the resources, digital resources that schools and students may not have had access to before. There are the public library cards that students may not have had. Benefits of the program just extend so far beyond what we first thought of when we were developing this program. And it really is the difference between the haves and the have-nots.